How are you?
I'm great. Is this my... Ooh, okay. This is a big table for one guy.
So, your first time in Italy, I have to ask to all the artists. So, what about?
I love it. I love it here. You need me to talk in here, right? Okay. I love it. It's my first time in Turin, and I've been to Italy as a child a couple of times, but I can't really remember. And I love the people here. For me, new places is always about the people there, you know. And people in Italy, they always have a smile on their face, and it's like it's not sunny outside, but the people kind of give the sun with their smile, so that's pretty cool.
Yes, of course, thank you. So, who want to be the first? Maybe we have some questions from the venue? No? So I have my question from Eurovision, Australia. Greetings from Melbourne, where it is 5 o'clock in the morning.
Go to sleep,
good morning. What was your friend Robin's involvement in your music, and what was his reaction when you qualified for Turin?
I think he's sitting here, right here. First of all, his reaction was, I think, you were kind of crying actually for the first time. Yeah, you were. He was kind of, he would never admit it, but he had a little tear in his eye. Yeah, you did. So yeah, I think he was pretty hyped as well. And yeah, he's had a big influence on my music. Of course, I've been making music for a long time, just like playing in small bars and all around town, you know, not really having any listeners. And that changed when Robin invited me to his studio, and we kind of worked together, and that's when it all kind of started. So I'm very thankful for his involvement.
You said that writing songs is just like a sort of therapy.
Yeah.
How can you tell us about this process?
Absolutely. It is, you know, for me, writing down thoughts, that's where it begins. That alone has like such an impact because, you know, when you think about things, it's always just a quick thought, and you don't really deal with those feelings. And as soon as you write them down, you know, you give them
it becomes more relevant.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a manifestation, a physical manifestation of the thought, and so it gets much more real. And that is the first part. Then for me, like turning those thoughts and feelings into melodies that kind of mean something to me, that evoke something. That's like the second step of the therapy program. And then of course like sharing those thoughts, sharing those feelings, and like standing on a stage, talking about it, having all these people. It's like a group session at that point where everybody just has their own side of the story, tells their side of their, you know, their experiences and their thoughts on it. And yeah, so these three kind of steps, they all make me feel like, yeah, music is kind of a self-therapy, actually.
And you are on the stage performing with keyboards and guitars and loop station and drum pad. How do you cope with that?
I love it.
So many things to do.
Yeah, it's so much fun, actually. It's yeah, I got the loop station, so that makes it possible for me to play various instruments kind of at the same time and just loop them together. And yeah, it's so much fun because, you know, I've been doing that for years now. I love it. At first, of course, it was pretty hard, you know, just like getting into it all. But now I don't have to think about it anymore, which is great. Because as soon as I think about it, it's like I'm out. Yeah, exactly. It's over. So no, I really love it.
Natural process.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yes, I couldn't do it differently.
Okay. Questions? Yes, you, sir. Second line, and then you. Okay.
Oh.
Hello Malik.
Hi.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
Simon from Good Evening Europe, once again, after Stockholm and Amsterdam. Now you've been to all of these pre-parties and met the Eurovision fans, and now you're here in Eurovision. What has been your overall impression of these last 2 months?
I'm just super hyped. It's been an amazing experience, an absolutely unique experience, and I'm so happy to be part of it. You know, for me, what made me the happiest in this whole thing was, you know, having the contact to the fans, actually, because they're so invested in everything and they're so passionate. And you know, with the pre-parties, I've been to countries and places I've never been to before. You know, for example, Israel in Tel Aviv. And it was so crazy to just like step out of the bus and have people scream my name and sing my song and everything. Yeah, exactly. But in a place where I've never been to before. So this whole journey has made me very humble in terms of knowing that there are people out there who listen to my music in places I've never been to. That's crazy.
Okay.
Thank you for your question. I have one, Benjamin from Eurovision Song Contest Compact. Are you satisfied with your first rehearsal?
Yeah, I am, definitely, yeah. We had some issues, of course, everybody has with the camera stuff, but we just sorted it out like this, and they're also super professional and super relaxed. I've played a couple of productions and everything, and normally everybody's super stressed, and it's like you don't even want to say anything, but here everybody was calm, they're like just making jokes and everything.
Maybe. They seem to be relaxed, but...
Yeah, but they're covering it up pretty good.
Yeah, okay. Other questions? Yes, you, madam. You wanted to... Not, oh, okay, you already answered. So, Sasha from the Eurovision Song Contest Green Room podcast in Germany. You have postponed your next tour by a few days. Did you do that in case of your victory, so that you have a few days to celebrate?
It's actually just one day. So it's we got one free day after Eurovision on 15th, and then the tour starts. So it's we're definitely gonna have a party. It doesn't matter if there's a victory or not, because this whole experience is just worth having a party for sure. And then yeah, we got one day to sober up, and then the tour starts. So I hope one day is gonna be enough, but I don't think so.
Which is the first thing you want to do after the Eurovision Song Contest?
Right after the final?
Right after.
Ooh, probably have a little gin tonic or two, and then just have a great night with all the other artists and all my friends. My family's going to be here, so yeah, it's going to be a long night for sure.
Okay. Can you tell us the story of the TV series The Office? Yes. I know the story.
Yeah, you do? All right, cool.
Yeah.
Actually, an episode of The Office was the inspiration behind Rockstars, my song, because it's actually a comedy series, so it's pretty weird. But there was this like very deep moment where one of the characters said, I'm not going to spoil, I'm not going to say who said it or when, but somebody said, I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them. And that sentence, that quote kind of really hit deep for me, you know. It was like I cried immediately, I gotta admit, and yeah, it made me realize so much about myself and my mood back then, and it made me realize how much time I spent in the past, you know, thinking about the good old days, comparing myself to when I was a child or when I was in my youth, and just not thinking about everything. You know, as a child, we always tend to just live in the moment, you know. There's no worries, there's no thoughts, everything is so lighthearted and mindless, and through that quote, I realized that I've grown up into a person who's just like always thinking about everything and caught up in a lot of worries and doubts and everything, and that was like a very painful realization, but also, sorry for talking so much, but that's important, because it also made me realize that we as humans always tend to see the good old days when they're over, and we almost never see the good things while they're still happening, but after they're done, and we look back at them, and I feel like, and that's what I'm trying to do with the song, I feel like we should change that and see the good things in here and now, you know.
Yeah, we have to remember to be child.
Exactly,
yeah.
Absolutely.
I have a question for you from Salman, Germany. After having performed in so many big European cities in the last weeks, do you feel like a rock star?
Maybe a little bit, yeah. I mean, I love standing on stages, you know. I've been doing it for a couple of years now, and of course through COVID that was taken away, and just now, having that opportunity back to stand on stages again and do what I love, play my music in front of people, that's just absolutely amazing, and it kind of gives you some rock star vibes for sure.
Okay. What about your pictures in your video clip? How did you choose them?
I don't even know how I chose them. I just went through all my child pictures, and there weren't too many actually, because I got two older siblings, and my parents, you know, the first child came, they were taking thousands of pictures all the time, then the second child came, a little less, and then I came, and it was like, okay, let's take 5 pictures, and then we got it, so yeah.
The first
It was
5
an easy process.
pictures, okay. Sonia from Germany, you just released a special version of your album Anonymous Colonies with the rock stars on it. How does it connect to the other songs on the album?
I think it does connect in a very beautiful way, because it's about looking back, you know, and this album was also created in a time where, now retrospectively thinking about it, I was living a very, very great life, you know, making music, being on stages and everything. And Rockstars, I released it during COVID when I was looking back at that time. So I feel like it really like closes the circle on my songwriting journey with the whole album.
How do you live the competition, Eurovision competition?
How do I view them?
No, how do you live it? I mean, how do you feel about the competition?
Also, yeah, sure. I'm very honored. You know, they're all great. I've met most of them now on the pre-parties and everything, and there's a lot of great songs, and of course, great artists behind them. You know, where I feel like it's like a school trip with friends more than it is a competition, actually.
And I have to ask you, which is your favorite artist or song?
I don't think that I can settle on one, to be honest.
Okay.
I love Belgium's song this year, "Miss You" by Jeremy. He's a good guy. Shout out.
Is
also,
he your friend?
Yeah, I think we're bros. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Sam Ryder's track, of course. Spaceman is amazing. Gives me those good old school vibes, you know. Yeah, I mean, there are so many. I could go on and on. I love the song from Ukraine, actually, Stefania. I love that track. Yeah, the list goes on and on.
Okay, so any other questions here? No? I keep on doing mine. Bernardo from website Festival PT. Could you explain the meaning or the meanings of your song Rockstars?
Yeah, as I said, you know, Rockstars is about looking back at the good old days, kind of.
Yeah.
But what I'm also trying to do with the song, or remind all of us with the song, is that we should look for the good old days or the good days in the present right now instead of always looking back. Because I feel like, you know, there's always great things happening around us, but we just tend to lose sight of them in the moment and focus on the bad things while they're happening instead of, you know, as soon as the things are over, we tend to find out how great they were. And that's something we should change because there's always great things happening around us.
Okay. Yes, sir, first. It's your turn.
Hello again.
Sorry, I didn't hear. Hello Malik, it's JP from Radio International. Good to see you finally at long last here on the stage of the Eurovision Song Contest. We were part of your start before you actually went to the national final. We had an interview on our radio program with you. You've been to many parties now. Which of the parties was the best one, and with which artist do you connect, or did you connect specifically here at Eurovision Song Contest?
Okay, let me think. The best pre-party is hard to say. I think for me personally, the best show was in Amsterdam because it felt like it was this huge, I think it was the Heineken Music Hall, so it was an actual concert venue. And for me as a live musician, it just absolutely gave me back those live feeling sensations. And so that was like, for me, it was like a big show. So that was like probably my favorite one. But they were all great, of course. And which artist do I connect most? That was
Yes.
Yeah, probably maybe Jeremy as well from Belgium. I think we're on the same wavelength. And did you ask for a collaboration with which artist? I would have.
Not yet.
Oh,
but
okay.
You can mention it. So.
Maybe I stood it up. Okay, then I'm not gonna say anything. No, but yeah, I mean, also Mia from Croatia, I really like her, and yeah, there are a lot of artists that we have a great connection to, and I'm very happy to have this whole journey with them.
If I may ask one more question, is that okay?
Yeah, okay.
Can you tell us about the process of creating Rockstars and then bringing that one to German television to be part of the national final?
Sure. I wrote Rockstars last year after, as I said, watching The Office episode. And I wrote a couple of, I always write songs actually, and it was one of those songs, but it somehow felt very different for me because it had like such a personal meaning to it, and it was so much more vulnerable than I usually write my songs. And so because of all that, I wanted to release the song as soon as possible. And after that, Robin actually came to me and he asked, you know, there's this period now where you could apply for the national pre-selection of the Eurovision Song Contest, and is that something that you could think about or imagine. And honestly, I never thought of being part of Eurovision, even though I really liked the event. But I never really thought of being there myself. But in that moment, when he asked me, I immediately thought of Rock Stars, of the song, and I felt like two things actually. The first thing was I felt like it's such a personal song, and I'm pretty sure that through Eurovision you reach a lot of people who can then might feel the same way or can identify with the lyrics and the meaning of the song. And also I felt like it's such a different track compared to all the Eurovision songs that I know, especially coming from Germany, that I thought like fuck it, let's just try something new.
It's a special one.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah. I saw your post on Instagram. You were skateboarding in Turin.
Oh gosh.
Do you love
No,
skateboarding?
not at all. I think,
just for the picture.
Yeah, I think every skateboarder would have seen that I'm not a professional. No, I was just it was just lying around and I jumped on it. I'm very happy that I didn't have an accident.
Okay. So, yes, you sir. First line, your turn.
Hello, Malik. My name is Farouk from France, from Paris. I've noticed that you have your guitar with you.
Yeah.
May you play something for us?
Sure.
Yes, of course.
Of
You
I
will.
like that question. I can give you
Yeah.
the Rock Stars chorus if you want.
Perfect.
A little louder too, but it's alright. Look where we are. We used to be the rock stars. I never thought of no harm till this thing we call life stopped dreaming. I wish there was a way to go back dreaming. Remembering it's so hard when time is moving so fast. Wish there was a way to know that moving the good old days before we all just leave home.
Thank
There you
you
go.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your performance.
Nice.
So, what does the sound of beauty mean for you?
Oh gosh, that's a difficult question. The sound of beauty. The first thing I just thought of was the voice of my grandfather. Actually, he sadly passed away a couple of years ago, but he was an opera singer. And I'm not really an opera fan, but like hearing his voice, I got some tapes and everything. That would be the sound of beauty for me, for sure.
Yes. I have one more last question. Siegfried, I heard that you are having a close connection with your 87-year-old grandma who lives in the United States. Will she be able to follow the Eurovision Song Contest, and do you ever heard from her?
Oh yes, I think she'll be able to watch like the show, right? Because in the United States it's gonna be like 5 o'clock or something like that, so it's gonna be fine. She's very, very proud, and she's so crazy. She's 87 now. I think she's 87, or she just
87.
turned 87.
Okay.
And she just got a tattoo. She just sent me a picture of her getting a tattoo with a tequila shot in her hand. So
She
she's
rocks.
like completely, yeah, she's a rock star for sure. And so I love her. If you're watching this, Omi, I love you. And yeah, I can't wait to listen to what she's gonna say after the big show. It's gonna be
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Malik Harris. It's a pleasure to meet you and to have you here and performing live for us. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure. For another day of press conference. So have an amazing